It's an interesting point to make the comment that we didn't see a huge amount of investment during the boom times, but to the country's credit, one of the first reactions post-downturn has been exactly what you described, the €150 million investment into schools, and it's a phenomenal start. Because what it effectively does is it creates an environment now where we have the baseline infrastructure that we can start building within schools. Is 150 million enough over the 3-year period? It's a question of what is enough. I mean, there's a certain level we have to reach that unfortunately that won't necessarily get us to, but it's a tremendous start. It's an incredible start. And we have to remember as well that on the back of that, schools are operating on a fundraising basis, trying to get this much needed equipment in there as well. So the passion from schools, from parents, from supporting bodies in that space has been extraordinary. And we've seen the output from that within Promethean. So is it a fantastic, phenomenal start or response to the downturn has been that investment in the future, has been that investment in the classroom. And it's been an extraordinary investment in terms of what that will provide the classroom. So essentially, we're talking about a laptop, licensed software, and a projector in each and every classroom, which is a phenomenal baseline activity in the classroom to get schools going. Now, we obviously feel there's a lot that can be built on in that respect, but we think it's an extraordinary start to the process of getting ICT within the classroom and giving students access to that digital future within a classroom environment. There's a risk, and I don't think it's so much a danger. I think there are some practical situations that you're describing that do exist out there. What reassures me a little bit in that sense is how parents are reacting to that, because in terms of the actual desire, the need for that equipment in a classroom, it's very well understood from the point of view of the parents. And if you throw your mind back to when this funding wasn't available within schools, schools were still going out there. They were using bake sales, fundraising, call it what you will, to try and get this equipment into the classroom. So I think there's absolute acceptance that parents do support this process within the classroom environment. I think a wonderful example of that was an association with Jack and Jill, whereby Promethean went out to schools with the charity and gave them an opportunity to collect all their old mobile phones, throw them in a bin of a corner of a classroom, and if they collected 300 to 500, depending what they're looking for, they got a free interactive whiteboard into the classroom. And we had 1 in 4 Irish schools signing up for that particular campaign, which was an enormous success. So it raised a huge amount of money for charity, which is wonderful charity, clearly. It got an awful lot of equipment into Irish classrooms who are not in a position to be able to procure that by standard means. And again, it sort of demonstrates within the Irish mindset that people are willing to get behind this as in terms of sort of community engagement to get this equipment into the classroom. And that gave me a lot of faith in terms of how powerful ICT is within the classroom, what people are willing to do to get it in there. It really comes down to, an innovation economy linking back needs innovative thinkers. And going back to your comment of how you learned your tables essentially by rote, that's the other end of the spectrum from what we effectively need within a classroom. So we need to give kids the tools so they can start thinking creatively, innovatively, and as, I suppose, self-directed learners as well. It's a two-way street these days. It's not just about the teacher dictating to the classroom what they need to learn, determine, pick up from a classroom environment. We need to get the students engaged, the willingness, want, a desire to learn within the classroom, and technology is an incredible adaptive tool to be able to use in that environment. So going back to your point of some examples in that space, if you were to look at how we're trying to engage kids around science, technology, engineering, maths, and we look at some of the tools that are available out there, we all have to accept that we're not just able to recall facts, etc. It's not necessarily a practical way to engage in the classroom. But if we look at some of the technology that can help different learners within the classroom, for example, you might be one of these individuals that is a very visual individual. You need to take data in that capacity. Therefore, maths as a subject mightn't traditionally suit you, or science for that matter. You can look at some of the 3D content that exists out there within the environment now, where you can get a visual view of a heart, how it's beating within a classroom. Look at maths, numeracy sort of subjects from a visual perspective as well. So technology can fill a lot of those gaps within the education environment to help kids really maximise their ability within the classroom and to stop thinking in that 2 + 2 = 4 type format and start thinking more creatively within the classroom.